Hello, and welcome to Soothing Pod's Sleep Stories. I'm Chris, and tonight we'll soar together on wings of hope and courage. Journey with me through the timeless tale of Icarus and his father Daedalus, a story of dreams, daring flight, and the delicate balance between reaching for the sun and heeding a father's wise warnings. Let this gentle story carry you into peaceful rest, where your own heart learns to fly with grace and calm. Before we begin our journey tonight, let's take time to relax and let go of the stresses of the day. Allow your body to sink into the mattress beneath you. Here and now, there are no obligations, no to-do lists. By simply lying in bed with your eyes closed, you are already giving your body nourishing rest. Close your eyes and feel the gentle rhythm of your breath, rising and falling like the wings of a bird. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast sky, endless and open. The air is soft and warm, carrying the promise of flight. With each breath, feel the lightness in your body, as if wings are unfolding from your back, ready to carry you upward. The world below fades gently, and all that matters is the space around you. Vast, calm, and free. Picture the golden sun, radiant but kind, watching over you. Its warmth invites you to soar, to explore the heights of your dreams. But remember the wisdom whispered by the wind. To find balance between reaching high and staying grounded. Feel the gentle pull of both earth and sky, a dance of courage and care. You are both the dreamer and the guardian, the flyer and the watcher, as you float effortlessly through the air. Let go of worry and fear. Trust the steady beat of your heart, your inner compass guiding you safely. Know that every flight, every dream is a journey of learning, a beautiful unfolding of who you are. Breathe deeply, feeling peace settle like soft feathers around you. And as you prepare to rest, carry this calm confidence with you. The quiet strength of wings that carry you gently home. Now that we have taken a moment to relax and find peace and comfort in the place that we're in, here and now, let us begin our story. Before the dawn of cities and the hum of voices, before the stars found their places in the sky, when silence draped the land like a soft cloak, when mountains rose like silent guardians, under skies untouched by time, the world held its breath in quiet wonder, waiting for stories to be born. High above the restless sea, on the edge of a rocky cliff, Daedalus and his son Icarus stood quietly, their eyes fixed on the horizon where the sky melted softly into the water. The island around them was still. The gentle hum of waves meeting stone, the distant call of seabirds, and the whisper of a cool breeze weaving through salt-kissed air. They had been trapped on this island for many days, their hopes tethered to the skies above. Daedalus, a master craftsman, a man known for his wisdom and skill, moved with careful purpose, his hands steady and sure, gathered feathers fallen from the skies with quiet determination, some gleaming white like clouds, others golden like morning light. Each feather was chosen with care, its shape and strength tested as he laid them side by side. Slowly, the feathers began to take form. Daedalus bound them together with threads of beeswax, warmed and softened by the touch of his hands. The wax held the feathers close, shaping wings that were both delicate and strong. Wings made not just of Earth's gifts, but of hope itself. Icarus watched, his heart swelling with wonder and a hint of nervousness. The wings shimmered faintly in the sun's last rays, a promise of freedom glowing in their delicate frame. The thought of flight, of soaring above the island, above the endless sea, filled him with a lightness he had never known. Remember this well, my son, Daedalus said, his voice soft yet steady, like the steady beat of wings in flight. The sky is a wide and wild place. Fly too low, and the sea's mist will dampen your wings, heavy with salt and cold. Fly too high, and the sun's fierce heat will melt the wax that binds your feathers, and the wings will fall apart. Icarus nodded, the weight of his father's caution mingling with the spark of youthful courage burning bright right inside him. The sky called to him, vast and mysterious, a canvas for dreams and daring. Together, they fastened the wings to their backs. The soft brush of feathers against skin, sending a thrill through their body. The wind swirled around them, a gentle embrace that seemed to say, "Fly." The world below grew small as they stepped to the cliff's edge. The rocky island, crashing waves, the far-off shores they longed to reach. Time seemed to hold its breath. And then, with hearts pounding steady and eyes full of hope, they leapt into the open air, where the sky wrapped around them like a quiet dream, and the freedom of flight was finally theirs. The morning sun spilled soft gold across the horizon. As Daedalus and Icarus prepared for their first flight, the air was cool and still, carrying the faint scent of salt and wild herbs from the rocky shore below. With steady hands, Daedalus helped his son fasten the wings, the feathers brushing gently against Icarus's skin. The world felt hushed, as if nature itself paused in anticipation. Together, they stepped to the cliff's edge, where the sky stretched vast and welcoming. Below, the sea whispered secrets in rhythm with the gentle breeze, and distant waves caught the light like scattered jewels. Icarus's heart beat with a tender mix of excitement and calm. The horizon beckoned, a realm of endless possibility, where earth and sky seemed to meet in a quiet embrace. With a deep breath, they launched themselves into the air, carried not by the earth beneath, but by the invisible wings of wind and hope. The ground slipped away slowly, becoming smaller until it was no more than a patchwork of blues and greens, a world seen through new eyes. The sky held them gently, a vast ocean of quiet light and endless space. Icarus felt the warmth of the sun on his face, and the soft rush of air singing past his ears. The world below was still, distant, and safe. They flew side by side, father and son, their shadows tracing gentle paths on the clouds beneath them. The joy of flight wrapped around them like a soft cloak, a secret song only the sky could hear. For a moment, time itself seemed to pause, a breath held between earth and heaven. And in that space, all fears fell away, leaving only the pure, tender wonder of flight. As Icarus and his father soared higher into the endless sky, the golden sun rose soft. The golden sun rose steadily, bathing the world in warm, honeyed light. The air around them shimmered softly, filled with the quiet hum of morning. Icarus felt the gentle caress of sunlight on his skin, a tender heat that seemed to fill him with a bright and restless energy. It was as if the sun itself was reaching out, inviting him to dance among the clouds and dream beyond the limits of Earth. The warmth spread through his chest like a gentle flame, comforting yet full of promise. It whispered of freedom and endless horizons, of soaring without bounds. But the sun's glow held another secret, one that Daedalus spoke of in quiet caution. The sun is a friend, but also a fierce guardian, he said softly, his voice steady and calm. Its warmth can lift you higher, but too close, it will melt the very wings that carry you. Icarus listened, feeling the weight of his father's words mingle with the spark of his own longing. The sky was a vast playground, filled with light and shadow, risk and wonder. As they glided through the golden rays, Icarus's heart swelled with the joy of flight, a dance between courage and care, between the warmth of the sun and the coolness of the wind. Above the world, wrapped in light and sky, father and son shared a moment of quiet magic, a fleeting harmony where dreams seemed as endless as the heavens themselves. As Icarus and Daedalus soared across the vast expanse of sky, the world beneath them shimmered like a distant mosaic of greens and blues. The sea whispered softly against the cliffs, and the warm breeze carried the scent of earth and salt. Daedalus glanced at his son with eyes full of love and quiet concern. His voice, steady yet gentle, reached Icarus like a soft song carried on the wind. Remember, my son, the sky holds many dangers hidden in its beauty, he said. Fly too low, and the cool mist rising from the sea will weigh your wings down, dampening the wax that holds them together. The salt and water will steal your strength. Icarus nodded, the caution settling deep in his heart, mingling with the thrill of flight. But fly too high, and the sun's heat will burn the wax, melting the bonds that keep your wings whole. Daedalus's words hung in the air like a tender warning, a balance to be honored, a path to be carefully chosen. Icarus looked down, seeing the sea's shimmering surface below and the vast sky above, stretching forever. He felt the pull of both worlds, the gentle tug of earth and the vast cool of the heavens. The wind whispered around them, urging freedom. Yet, Daedalus's voice reminded him of the wisdom in restraint. Together, they floated between sea and sun, learning the delicate dance of courage and care. A lesson not just of flight, but of life itself. As the days unfolded beneath the vast, ever-changing sky, Icarus found himself drawn deeper into the dance of flight, a dance that held both wild joy and delicate balance. Each morning, he and Daedalus rose with the sun, their wings catching the soft breeze that whispered promises of adventure. The world below transformed with every glide and turn. Rolling hills became gentle waves of green. Sparkling rivers traced silver ribbons through the earth. And distant forests whispered ancient songs carried on the wind. Up here, the sky cradled them in a quiet embrace, a vast cathedral of light and cloud where time seemed to slow. Icarus felt the rhythm of his own breath align with the pulse of the wind, the beating of wings like a soft heartbeat echoing through the open air. He moved with a grace that surprised even himself, a blend of careful skill and the unrestrained spirit of youth. There was a freedom in this dance, unlike any he had known before, a freedom to rise, to fall, to spin and soar without fear. The sun painted golden trails on his feathers, and the clouds became soft cushions beneath his outstretched arms. His laughter, light and clear, floated on the breeze, a melody of pure joy. Yet, beneath this joy, the lesson his father had shared remained a quiet guide. Icarus remembered the gentle warnings. Fly not too low, nor too high, like a secret thread weaving through his flight. A reminder that freedom was not without care. these moments between earth and sky, between caution and courage, Icarus discovered a truth deeper than the thrill of flight. Freedom was a dance, one that required balance, respect, and a tender heart. Daedalus watched his son with pride and a touch of worry, knowing this dance could carry them both toward wonder or peril. Still, he trusted in the strength of their bond, a quiet wisdom that came not just from words, but from shared flight beneath the sun. As they drifted gently on a warm current, the horizon stretched endlessly before them. A canvas waiting to be painted with dreams, memories, and the promise of flight. The sky around Icarus shimmered with the soft glow of afternoon light, the clouds drifting lazily like wisps of dreams. The sun hung high, a radiant orb bathing the world in golden warmth. Up here, everything felt possible, endless and full of promise. Icarus felt a thrill surge through him as he rose higher, the air growing thinner but no less inviting. The wings, crafted with care and bound by love, carried him steadily upward, feather by feather, catching the light. The world below, the restless sea, the craggy cliffs, the patchwork earth, grew smaller and softer, like a painting coming into focus. But with each breath of freedom, the warmth of the sun grew stronger, its golden fingers reaching deeper into the fragile wax that held his wings together. The gentle cautions of his father, Daedalus, echoed faintly in his mind, a soft song of warning. Fly not too high, lest the sun's heat melt the wax. Yet the pull of the sun was like a siren's call, bright, irresistible, filled with a promise of power and light. Icarus felt his heart lift higher than ever before, and with youthful courage sparkling in his eyes, he let the heat draw him closer. The sun's warmth wrapped around him like a golden embrace, a temptation impossible to resist. Then the fragile bonds began to weaken. The wax that held the feathers, once solid and sure, softened under the sun's fierce gaze. Feathers loosened one by one, drifting away like petals on a breeze. Icarus's breath caught as the wings, his wings, began to falter. For a moment, time itself seemed to hold its breath, caught between flight and fall, between light and shadow. The wind, once a gentle friend, now rushed past with urgent whispers, urging him back to safety. But the sky felt endless, and the earth below seemed too far, too distant. And then, with a quiet sigh, the wings gave way. Icarus began to fall. But this was no sudden crash. The fall was a slow surrender, a soft drifting down through layers of air and light. The sea below caught him with gentle arms, its cool embrace wrapping around him like a lullaby. The ocean was vast and calm, holding the echoes of his flight and the whispers of the sun's warmth. Beneath the surface, light danced softly, and the world seemed to pause in reverence to the courage it had witnessed. Far above, Daedalus watched in silent grief and love, his heart aching, yet proud. The bond between father and son was unbroken, woven not just through wings and flight, but through every breath and every heartbeat shared beneath the sun and sky. And though the fall marked an end, it was also a beginning, a story carried on the winds and waves, gentle reminder that even in surrender there is grace, and in loss a quiet kind of light. The sea welcomed Icarus with open arms, its cool waters wrapping around him like a silken shawl. The surface rippled softly, catching the sun's fading light and scattering it in gentle sparkles that danced like tiny stars. Beneath the waves, quiet world unfolded, serene and mysterious. Schools of shimmering fish wove through the water like ribbons of silver, and the gentle sway of seaweed whispered ancient secrets, carried from the depths to the shore. Icarus floated there, cradled by the ocean's tender hold. A coolness seeped into his skin, calming the heat of the sun and the ache of the fall. It was a place of peace, where time slowed and the noise of the world faded into a distant murmur. Around him, the sea hummed a lullaby, a steady rhythm of tides rising and falling, a song older than memory itself. The waves rocked gently, as if singing him softly to sleep. Though his wings had failed, Icarus felt no fear here. Instead, There was a quiet courage in surrender, a gentle acceptance of the ocean's embrace. The fall had ended, but the journey was not over. Far above, Daedalus looked down with eyes full of sorrow and love. His heart ached for his son, yet he found comfort in the calm strength that surrounded Icarus now. The sea was not just a place of endings, but of beginnings. A silent promise whispered beneath the waves. The water carried Icarus gently toward the shore, where the rocks stood like ancient sentinels, witnessing the story that had unfolded beneath the sky. Here, in this quiet meeting of land and sea, the tale of flight and fall, of hope and loss. It would be remembered. The tale of flight and fall, of hope and loss, would be remembered. As the sun dipped lower, painting the horizon with hues of amber and rose, the ocean sighed softly, a breath of peace settling over the world. In the hush of evening, the story of Icarus became a gentle song, a reminder that even when dreams falter, the heart's journey continues, cradled by the endless embrace of the world around us. From the high cliffs, where he had once soared beside his son, Daedalus stood silently, his gaze fixed upon the endless horizon where sea and sky met in a soft embrace. The wind tugged gently at his cloak, carrying the faint scent of salt and wildflowers. Yet his heart was heavy with a quiet sorrow. The loss of Icarus weighed on him, like a shadow stretching across the sunlit earth. Memories flooded his mind, his son's bright eyes full of wonder, the joyous laughter that had once filled the air, the tender moments spent crafting the wings with patient hands. Each memory was a precious flame, flickering softly against the darkness of grief. Daedalus knew that the flight had been more than a daring escape. It was a journey of hope, of courage woven with love. Yet now, in the stillness after the fall, he felt the sharp ache of what had been lost, and the silent question that lingered in the spaces between the waves and clouds. He reached out as if to touch the sky itself, seeking answers in the vastness. The heavens offered no comfort, only the quiet chorus of stars beginning to emerge, silent witnesses to the stories of mortals and gods alike. But even in sorrow, Daedalus found strength. His love for Icarus was a tether, unbroken by distance or time. It was a light that would guide him through the coming days. A quiet flame that could not be extinguished. Thought of the wings, the fragile gift they had shared, and the lessons carried within their feathers. Balance and bravery, caution and dreams. The dance between freedom and care. And though his heart ached with the weight of loss, Daedalus vowed to carry those lessons forward, to honor his son's spirit with each breath and step. As twilight deepened, painting the sky with soft hues of lavender and gold, Daedalus stood alone upon the cliff's edge, the weight of loss settling deep within his heart. The sky stretched vast and silent above him, a boundless canvas that had once held their dreams and daring flight. In the quiet that followed, Daedalus felt the stirring of something new, a resolve woven from grief and love, fragile yet unyielding. Though the world had changed, the sky still called to him, a whispered invitation to rise once more. With careful hands, he adjusted his own wings, feeling the familiar brush of feathers and the solid warmth of wax. Each feather seemed to carry a memory, a laugh, a lesson, a touch. The wings were more than a gift. They were a bond, a promise that flight would continue, even in the face of sorrow. As he stepped toward the edge, the wind wrapped around him like a gentle embrace, steadying his heart and steadying his wings. The sea below whispered its ancient lullaby, reminding him that every ending held the seed of a new beginning. With a deep breath, Daedalus leapt into the air, the world falling away beneath him. The sky cradled his fall, then lifted him higher, as if welcoming back a lost child. His wings beat steady and strong, carrying him over the cliffs, the waves, and the endless horizon. Though his heart ached, there was also a quiet strength, a tenderness born of love and loss, courage and remembrance. Daedalus flew not just for himself, but for Icarus, his son, his light, his wild spirit. Every glide and turn was a silent song, conversation carried on the wind, echoing through the clouds. In the vastness of the sky, Daedalus found a new kind of peace. The pain of loss softened by the gentle rhythm of flight. The knowledge that some bonds transcend even the greatest fall. And so, beneath the ever-watchful sun and the quiet stars, the father's flight carried on, a testament to love's enduring power and the courage to rise again. Long after the sun had set on that fateful day, and the waves had gently closed over the place where Icarus had fallen, his story began to soar beyond the bounds of earth and sea. It was carried on the breath of the wind, whispered by the rustling leaves, and written softly across the endless canvas of the night sky. Though his flight had ended in a fall, the courage that lifted him skyward did not fade. Instead, it blossomed into a legacy, a quiet light that flickered in the hearts of all who dared to dream. Icarus became more than a boy with wings. He became a symbol of hope, a reminder that the desire to reach beyond our limits is a flame worth kindling. Around the world, stories told in hushed tones and gentle songs kept his spirit alive. Parents would speak of him to children as the boy who dared to dance with the sun, who embraced both the thrill of flight and the wisdom of balance. His journey became a tender lesson, teaching that dreams require both courage and care, that every step toward the sky carries with it the need for respect and understanding. The stars above, countless and shining, seemed to gather in tribute, each one a gentle echo of Icarus's bold heart. On clear nights, when the world is quiet and still, it feels as if the heavens themselves are watching over those who dare to spread their wings and soar. In the hush of twilight, when dreams begin to stir, the legacy of Icarus calls softly to the dreamer in all of us. It invites us to reach beyond what we know, to touch the light even when the path is uncertain. His story is a tender reminder that falling is a part of flying, a natural step in the dance of growth and discovery. And though the journey may bring moments of fear and sorrow, it is always carried by hope. Hope that the heart will learn to rise again, that the spirit will find strength in every challenge, and that the sky will always hold space for new dreams to take flight. As night deepens and the world drifts drifts toward peaceful rest. The legacy of Icarus settles like a soft whisper in the soul, a lullaby of courage, freedom, and the endless beauty of reaching for the stars. As twilight deepened and the sky draped itself in soft hues of indigo and silver, the world seemed to hold its breath in a moment of quiet stillness. The sun had long since dipped below the horizon, and the first stars began to twinkle. Tiny lanterns scattered across the vast tapestry of night. It was in this serene hush that the story of Icarus continued to live on, carried gently on the whispers of the wind. The wind, ever ancient and wise, weaves through valleys and climbs over mountain, carrying with it the echoes of dreams, hopes, and stories told since the beginning of time. Among these whispers floats the tale of a boy who dared to fly, who reached toward the sun with a heart full of longing and courage. His flight was not without its perils, yet it was marked by a beautiful bravery that shines as a quiet beacon for all who listen. Though Icarus's wings faltered and his fall was mourned, the wind reminds us that every flight, every attempt to reach beyond the known, leaves a trace, a soft imprint on the soul of the world. In those moments of soaring, the spirit tastes freedom, and that freedom lingers long after the flight ends. Beneath the vast heavens, the earth breathes in rhythm with the stars, and all who close their eyes can feel the gentle pulse of the universe. It is a pulse that carries reassurance, that dreams may falter, but the heart's desire to rise again is eternal. The whispers in the wind carry not just stories of flight, lessons of balance and care. They speak of listening to the quiet voice within, the gentle wisdom that guides us between daring and caution. Like Icarus, each of us must find our own path, sometimes soaring close to the sun, sometimes gliding near the cool embrace of the sea. In this quiet, there is peace. A peace born from knowing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to embrace it with grace. That falling is part of learning, that every ending folds softly into a new beginning. As you listen to these whispers, feel your breath slow and your body soften. Let the gentle rhythm of the night wrap around you like a comforting shawl. Know that you were cradled by the same ancient winds that carried Icarus and Daedalus, winds that carry the endless dance of hope, freedom, and dreams. Tonight, as sleep begins to fold you into its gentle embrace, carry the story of Icarus with you, a reminder that your heart too can soar, that every dream is a step toward light, and that the sky will always be there to welcome you home. I hope you enjoyed tonight's journey, and it has brought you a night of peaceful, restful sleep. Please join me again tomorrow night for another sleep story. Until then, sweet dreams.